Welcome to Masterclass number 3, Persuasive Speaking. This is the class that's going to help you to sell your products without being salesy. It's going to also help you to market your services, to enroll the right amount of clients, the right clients, should I say, to start working with you and to build that relationship. And it all starts from selling well from your speaking. Now, there's a lot of different techniques when it comes to selling from speaking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the ones that I use the most when I'm speaking. And this formula works for any type of scenario. If you're a corporation and maybe you want to use this to generate leads because you're not going to close a B2B account right there on the spot at the seminar. It's just not going to happen, right? But this is very useful in terms of gathering leads and starting that consultative selling process. So you want to go ahead and pay very close attention, because what I'm about to share with you has worked for me hundreds of times. I've given numerous workshops, seminars, too many to even count, for the last 4.5 years. And every time I implement these techniques, these squares of persuasion, as I call them, every time it generates sales for our company, and I think it's also going to generate sales for your company. So let's go back a little bit to that 30-minute talk that we had to do, and remember that mind map where I asked you in the first class to create these bubbles, to put it all together. Remember the 3 T's of creating an effective presentation? And I asked you to put together a 30-minute talk and to imagine what would be the right audience that would really benefit from your talk. So I want you to actually revisit that, okay? Because now, I trust that you went and you grabbed that piece of paper that you did in that first masterclass, the one with all the bubbles and the 3 T's and putting it all together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now the squares of persuasion. So let's pretend this is your mind map right here from class number 1. And what we want to do when we're setting ourselves up to influence, to sell from the stage, the first thing you want to do is you want to create an agreement from the beginning with the audience. You want to let them know that you're going to offer them something. You don't want to just give them all this great content. Let's say it's a 30-minute talk and you're just talking and talking, and at the end you change into your sales pitch. You don't want it to go down like that, okay? What you want to do is you want to begin from the start and say, look, today I only have about 30 minutes with you guys today. And in these next 30 minutes, I'm going to teach you guys all I know about public speaking. And then for those of you that want to take your training further, I promise to create an opportunity at the end where you can do that. Does that sound fair with everybody here? Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and get started. So what that was is we planted a seed. We planted a seed, okay? You want to plant it somewhere right at the beginning, right after you did your background. You want to go ahead and plant that seed that, hey, what you're doing is you're saying, look, I'm going to give you one dish today, but some of you out there, you want to get the whole buffet, and I'm going to show you exactly how to get it. So that would be that first square, which is the seed square. Okay, you want to plant that, again, somewhere right around, maybe right after you did the background, you want to plant that. Hey, I only got an hour today. In this next hour, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to give you guys so much good content. And then for those of you that want to take your training further, I promise to create an opportunity at the end where you can do that. Does that sound fair with everybody? Okay, good. Let's get started then. So that's how you would set that up. Now, what you want to do throughout your presentation, you're going to sprinkle more seeds, okay, and more squares of persuasion. And one way to do it would be to talk about some of your clients. You want to reference a success story. You know, I have a client, his name is Chaminda Gamaje. He came to me, a Georgia Tech professional, and he really wanted to express himself better, but he also wanted to go for a promotion. And you know, after working with us for just a few sessions, we were able to help him reach his goal, and he got an increase of $30,000 as a result of our training per year, by the way. And more importantly, the part that you can't measure, but the more important part is that right now he's leading a team. He's doing great. He's very confident, expressive. He's nothing like he used to be before he started the class. So that would be like a success story, and I would perhaps sprinkle that in anywhere throughout your talk. So maybe that would be a testimonial, right? A testimonial story. Another way you might want to do this is to teach the audience something and then say, if you want to get more, this little bit is actually coming from our advanced section, our advanced program. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share with you just a couple of these tidbits. Like what I'll do is I'll say, we have 15 of these components of effective public speaking. Today I'm just going to start you off and give you 3 of them. And then for those of you that want to learn more, you'll know exactly where to get it, right? So tell them, hey, I'm giving you this little part right here, but guess what? This part is coming from another part, okay? I'm giving you the first lesson out of 6 lessons, right? So we would call that the get more square. The get more square. Hey, I'm giving you this information, but I'm also showing you where you can get more if you like this information. Another square of persuasion would be the giveaway. So what you want to do is you want to have a drawing and go ahead and just tell the audience, say, look, we have a special program that we offer in the summertime. It's called XYZ program. And what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to actually give one away to one lucky winner in this audience. And then you go ahead and you do a drawing and you pick a winner and you give one away. But guess what? While you're doing that, it really positions you to start talking about your course, about your program, about your solution. And again, if you're coming from a place of giving and not taking, then the audience is going to be much more receptive. So we'll call this one the giveaway square. Another square of persuasion would be the overwhelm square, okay? Now, this one right here is you want to go ahead and just really load up the audience. Just give them so much on a particular topic or on one section to where you know that they're going to feel overwhelmed. Just present a lot of good content and then tell them, look, if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't worry, because this is coming straight from our XYZ advanced program, which I'll tell you guys a little bit about later, right? So the overwhelm square. Overwhelm the audience just a little bit so that they're going to welcome your solutions. So you sprinkle those squares of persuasion throughout your talk. Now what you want to do is when you get down to the actual close, you don't want to just jump into the close. Even though you hinted at where they can get more training, more tools, more resources, you've given some testimonials, you talked a little bit about, if you gave away a program, you had a section where you really kind of dumped a little too much on them, but you also told them that there is a solution where they can get more, which you'll tell them about in just a couple of minutes. You talked about the get more a square, right? Like, so this part right here is coming from our XYZ program, and for those of you that want to get more, that's where you can find more, in this particular program that we offer. So you did hint a lot, even from the beginning, with this seed square, where you said, hey, I'm going to teach you right now, but I'm also going to make you an offer, right? You could even say something like this. Say, I know that the only way that you're going to consider our advanced programs today would be if you get a lot of value from being here today. And I know that that would be the only way that you would say to yourself, look, if he's giving me so much value from this free program that I attended, well, imagine how much value would he give me if I actually invested in his program. And I think, the answer to that would be a heck of a lot more. So, you can say all kinds of things to really position your products and your solutions to kind of segue into you talking about them all throughout the presentation. But again, it's just little sprinkles, just a little hint here and there. You don't want to go into your description of your products or services right inside the talk until you get down to what this block right here. And there's going to be 6 squares to a close. So right now what we're doing is we are going to transition into the close. And that's what this first square right here of the close is called the transition close. The transition square. So transition square would be something like this. You say, did you guys get a lot of value from being here today? Yes? Did you guys like this mind map that we presented? Yes? Very good. Who'd like to have it all written down, by the way? Awesome, awesome. Let me go ahead and pass out today's summary sheets. And by the way, this is also my invitation on how to work with me further. If you remember, I promised you that in the beginning. So what you're doing is you're taking this summary sheet where it highlights a couple things about what you talked about, but then you're also passing it out to every person in the audience. This is critical. It's very important that every person has this summary sheet of some of the things that you presented. Now guess what? On that summary sheet, you're also going to have an offer. And you're telling them, as you're passing it out, you're saying, and this is also my invitation on how to work with me further. If you remember, I promised you that in the beginning. So you're literally transitioning into the actual close, but the way you're doing it is, you have a transition, a smooth transition. You're not just gonna start talking about, okay, and now we have this program, you can go to our website, it's a summer promotion. You don't want to do it like that. You really want to always be giving away, give away a lot of information. So that would be the transition block. Right after that, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and talk about your product, right? So this is going to be your product, and you want to give it a name, right? It's got to have a name. Like for my product is called the Complete Speaker Mastery University. I have other products as well, products on leadership, on company culture, just different kinds of digital products that I offer. You can also offer right here a course, a live workshop, a mastermind, a small group training, private coaching, whatever it is that you want to offer, but it's very good to have a name for it. So you want to, give your side cash system, that would be a name. One of my students actually came up with that one in one of my classes, the side cash system. So that was kind of cool. We have also, I've heard somebody say, they have acronyms, the Go Hard system. So there's a lot of really good names that I've heard throughout the years. And, I have a product called the 4-Pack Intensive. We have our Mastermind University. We have our 6-week boot camp, private coaching, a lot of different offers that you could make, right? So, but make sure that you give it a name. The name doesn't have to be all that clever. Doesn't have to be, whatever your mind can think of, just name it, perfect it later on, right? Perfect it later on. Build the plane as you're flying it. So it's more like fire, aim, ready, So always fail forward in business. That's how you're going to get good. Not by thinking about it and perfecting it and let me go get a whole bunch of feedback on what's the proper name. Yeah, you could do that, but first start. Get in there, make an offer, because the best feedback comes from the audience, whether they bought or not. There's no better feedback than that, right? So I think you get the idea. That would be your product name right over there. Now, as you're talking about your product, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and put a couple of other squares here, and go ahead and put about 4 squares. And I call these the Christmas lights, because without these, your product is not going to light up. It's just going to be a Christmas tree with no lights, okay? So here's these squares. I call them the FFB squares, or the Christmas lights. FFB. And that stands for feature, function, benefit. Feature, function, benefit. Feature, function, benefit. So an example might be my shoes, my new shoes, which you can't see right now, but I might say something like, because I got these brand new shoes, that's the feature, the shoes, it's gonna allow me to run a lot faster. That's the function. It's gonna let me go faster. What's the benefit? Which will allow me to place in the top 5 of a 3K marathon that I've been trying to place in that top 5 for I don't know how many years now. Okay, that's the benefit, but it's also gonna give me a sense of satisfaction. It's gonna give me a sense of fulfillment, knowing that I finally did it and I've accomplished that goal. So that benefit, you want to tie in something that's universal, something that everybody wants. Everybody wants more money. Everybody wants more time. Everybody wants more happiness, more confidence. These are all things that people want. So that benefit, make it something that everybody wants, right? So that was an example one. Let me give you a real world one. Say something like this. Because our program has video feedback in all of our classes, okay, that's the feature. We have video feedback, right? It's gonna allow you to look at yourself on the big screen, and you'll be able to notice the things that you're doing good, but also you're gonna notice the things that maybe there's some areas of opportunity for you to improve on, right? Okay, that's the function. I can really see that feedback of myself, which will allow you to progress and really get to that level 10 speaker standard a lot faster. You'll save a whole bunch of time, okay? Oh, that's the benefit. You're gonna progress faster and you're gonna save time. And time is the most valuable asset that you can have in this world, even more valuable than money. So I think you kind of get the idea. What you want to do is you want to come up with 4 of these, and you want to think about your product, your program. You know, come up with certain features. You know, we have a 25-point evaluation, or we have a free assessment. That's the feature. Okay, well, there's a function to it. It's going to allow you to, you know, really spot the things that you know, it's going to give you a complete assessment. And that way you'll know that there's no stone that was left unturned. That means that we cover everything so that you're not in the dark and maybe you missed out on something that was very important, right? So I'm kind of making these up on the fly here, but I think you get the idea. So I want you to go ahead and come up with 4 Christmas lights, 4 FFB squares, and attach that right under your product name. And as you're describing it in front of the audience, you want to go ahead and go through all 4 of those. So you should have at least 4 features for your offer. I think you get the point. But never just talk about features. Always talk about feature, function, benefit. So right after that, the next square over here, it's not really a square at this point, it's more of like a rectangle, but same concept, same shape almost, would be the actual investment, right? So the investment. So, you know, you might say something like, you literally can transition into the investment right after you talk about the FFBs, because you really dressed up the product right there. And you may say, okay, Ariel, I got it. Look, this is product, I need this. Let's talk about the investment. So it's listed right there on your summary sheet. It's listed right there at $5,000, right? Now at $5,000, let me ask you guys a question. if you could get up on stage and you could pull just one high ticket client as a result of our training, would it be worth $5,000? What do you guys think? Now the investment should be the highest market value that you possibly can find. So if you have someone in your industry that's doing a similar program, you want to go ahead and put that price down on the actual summary sheet, right? $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, whatever it may be, put that price down. Put the highest market value. Even if you think to yourself, man, I'm only charging, $2,000 for my coaching program, and but the highest market value would be more like $40,000 from what I've seen in a similar program. Put that down. Put the highest market value. So go ahead and write that down as you're learning here. The highest market value. And as you're talking about the investment, your goal is to actually sell it at that highest market value. That would be your goal. Now, you're not really going to sell it at that value, but you're going to try to. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So you're not going to give them a discount just yet. You're not going to give them an at-seminar promotion just yet. What you want to do is you really want to sell them on why it's worth the highest market value. If you could get up on stage and you pull just one high ticket client that's worth, $3,000, $5,000, would it be worth the tuition that we're asking for? What do you think? So another way that I kind of justify that investment is I'll say something like, how many people here went to college? Invariably, almost everyone answers and raises their hand to that. And I'll say, how much is the average college education? How much did it cost you? Room, board, tuition, per year? How much was it? 30,000, okay, 40,000. Now what I want you to do is I want you to multiply that by 4, okay? Because there's no college program where you can get out after 1 year and you got the job, right? You need to go 4 years to get your degree. So the whole idea is that, you're really helping them to justify this investment. If they spend $120,000 on their college education and you're only asking for $25,000, well, it's kind of a no-brainer, especially since we know that some of the best knowledge doesn't come from schools. It actually comes from people who've spent their whole life mastering this one craft that they're teaching, right? Some of the best knowledge. Now, I love school. I'm not saying I want my kids to go to school and all that good stuff, but all I'm saying is sometimes the best knowledge comes from, experts who've dedicated their whole life to one little niche, right? And I think you know that already. So you want to go ahead and, talk about the investment, really justify it. You also, in this section right here, maybe include a credibility source, right? An expert opinion right here. So you want to find someone in your industry who really believes in what you're doing. So for me, it would be someone like Warren Buffett. I'll say, how many people here have actually heard of Warren Buffett? Everybody, right? Well, did you know that Warren Buffett, he went to 2 different universities, but he doesn't have his degrees on his wall anymore, his diplomas on his wall in his business office. But the one diploma he does have is the one from Dale Carnegie, where it's a public speaking course, because he said it changed my life. And this is coming from the world's greatest investor. He said that the best investment he's ever made was to invest in a public speaking class. Okay, so that's someone who really believes in what I'm doing, and they're sold on it because they've experienced transformational results in their life. So it would be very beneficial for me to say, look, Warren Buffett said that's the best investment, right? So you guys should really consider it. Eric Schmidt, he's the founder of Google. He said that the best advice he's ever gotten was to hire a coach, right? So you could use that, right? So there's a lot of them, but what you want to do is you want to research for your industry somebody who really believes in what you're offering. Maybe it's Oprah and a certain diet program that she's really really believes in, right? So you'll find that credibility expert, and this will be the time to kind of drop that in. Now, after you really sold them, again, don't give away the farm here. Sell them at why it's worth the highest market value. And I've given you some examples here. After you do that, what you would want to do is you want to go ahead and give at seminar special. At seminar special. Of course you would. But here's the thing. You don't want to just give it away because, hey, you're it's a promotion we're doing. We've just launched our new website. We just came up with this new product. Now, there has to be a very strong reason for why you're giving them a break at the seminar promotion. So for me, I'll take out this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I'll actually show it to the audience, and I ask, how many people have actually heard of this book? And I'll say something like, several times a year we have what's called our mentorship outreach program, and this is true, by the way. And what we do is we believe so much in this habit of definite decision that Napoleon Hill talks about, that we actually offer that a major reward, a major scholarship for anyone that decides to implement this habit of definite decision during our mentorship outreach program launch. Okay, so I'll read them a little passage about Napoleon Hill. He talks about definite decision, and he says something like leaders in all walks of life decide quickly and promptly. They don't waver to the left, they don't waver to the right. They decide, and that's the major reason that they're leaders. And he also says something like the major weakness of all educational systems is that they neither teach nor encourage the habit of definite decision. So I decided, a while back, that if I ever get a chance to be in a place where I can give back to the community, that I was going to teach that lesson of definite decision. And here's how it works. So here's what I'm going to do for you. I want you to go ahead and cross out the 40,000, the 40,000 that you see over there for our Mastery University. I want you to cross that out, and right next to it, write, $49.97. So it goes from 40,000 all the way to 5,000. Okay, but there's a reason for it. Okay, because this allows me to teach this lesson, which, and all this is true, by the way, to teach this lesson which has been paramount in my life. The habit of definite decision. I made one decision when I was 17 years old. It took me to my life purpose, to sign up for that Tony Robbins seminar. I wouldn't be here talking to you in this room today with cameras on me. When I'm tired, I'm hungry, but here I am. I have a lot of passion to help you. And I wouldn't be here doing this unless unless I made that definite decision at the age of 17. So it's very, very true. It's 100% true. And you want to find strong reasons that are true for you, and then you want to implement them. If you can't think of any, you could even say, because you guys have made the time investment to be here today, I'm going to reward you because I believe that the universe rewards fast action takers, rewards those that are committed, not just compliant. There's all kinds of ways you can kind of spin it, but you could even say something like, because you guys made the time investment to be here today, I'm going to do something extra special just for the people in this room today. Here's what I'm going to do. Everybody take out your pen, cross out, and tell them to cross out that market value, and right next to it, give them like maybe a 75% discount, and then put write today's date, and then put today only, but then explain why it would be today only, right? Now you're not trying to do it to be salesy, but you're actually trying to teach them a lesson, or you want to reward your fast action takers, because, to be honest with you guys, those are the people that wind up doing the best work with me. So I like to reward my fast action takers, right? So I think you get the point there. You give them the @seminar special, and you give them a very strong reason of why they would, why you're actually giving them such a big discount. And then right here, you want to go ahead and the next one is called the pink elephants. The pink elephants. Okay, you want to address the pink elephants that that is going through their mind right now. And what I mean by that is, there are some questions that they're thinking, there are objections that they're thinking in their mind. And instead of you ignoring the pink elephant, point to it and let's take care of it. Let's point to it, and then let's make it like David Copperfield, let's make it disappear, right? So here's how you would do it. You want to think about the major objections that are going through their mind right now. And then you want to voice it, right? So you might be in this room this morning and you might say, you know what, Ariel, I need a program like this. I do. But I don't have the time right now to invest in another program. I'm working 2 jobs, I'm a full-time mom, I just don't have the time. That's a pink elephant. They're thinking that, oh man, I would do this, but I can't, I'm swamped right now. I don't have the time to do it. They're thinking that, so I'll bring it up. And I'll say, and if that's you, I want you to know that our classes are recorded. We actually give you a coaching assistance to go along with the classes. So we actually fill you in on what's going on with each class via phone. We give you the video lesson so that even if you miss a couple classes, no problem. You can still be at the same pace and graduate with your classmates. Or you could say, because we record every session, you can actually go at your own pace, and you can take the home study course, right? Instead of doing the live course, right? Something like that. So you want to talk about what are the pink elephants. So time is going to definitely come up, because everyone is way too busy in today's times. Every person I know is extremely busy. We're too busy for everything. We're too busy for friends. We're too busy for family oftentimes. We're too busy to hang out. We're too busy. We're busy bees, right? You get the point, right? It's pretty late right now. But the whole idea is that, people don't have a lot of time, right? So they're definitely thinking that's a major elephant that's going to come up no matter what you're offering. Another pink elephant that's going to definitely come up is going to be the money part, and the thing is, like, you might be in this room this morning and you might say to yourself, you know what? Although it's worth the $5,000, right now I don't have $5,000 that I can invest into a program. I just don't. And I want you to know, if that's you, if you're saying to yourself, I don't have $5,000 to invest in this program, your problem is not a $5,000 problem. That's not the problem, okay? Because our program is going to help you to make money, and for a lot of students, it helps them to make that many times over in a pretty short period of time. So your problem is not a $5,000 problem. It's more like a $500,000 problem. Okay, so it's the way you're thinking. So if you're telling me that you don't have the money to sign up for this program, and I'm not being flippant when I say this, I'm saying this with the most authenticity that I possibly can, you need this program the most, because our program is going to teach you how to make money. So the reason not to do something, I don't have the money, that becomes the reason to do something. So because you don't have the money to do it, that's the reason you need this program. Because our program will teach you, you may say, well, I don't teach programs where people can go out and do public speaking, marketing, or online systems to make more money. I don't teach that. I teach health and wellness, and well, same thing. You may say, if you're in a place right now and you say that you don't have the money to invest in this health and wellness program, then you must have the money to invest in medical bills, doctor visits, and all of the ailments and the consequences that will come as a result of not taking care of your body. It's always, always cheaper to pay it on the front end than the back end, right? So doesn't matter, you can spin that around, because you know everyone is thinking that question. That pink elephant is going to come up regardless of what you're selling, and that's, you know, the money part. So they're definitely going to come up with that. There's probably a whole lot of others. You want to think about what are the major pink elephants for your industry, for your offer. You know, it could be something like, you know, how are you guys different? That's always a pink elephant. You know, how are you different? You know, it could be something like, I don't think this will work for me because I've tried it in the past. It could be something like, oh, we're already using another supplier. I'm already enrolled in a virtual mastermind program. I'm already enrolled in that. So right now I can't, because, you know, I already have somebody. And then you could say, you know, and if you're thinking to yourself, you know, if some of you are already enrolled in another program, and what I want you to know is that, you know, our program is actually a perfect complement for some of the other programs that you're already involved in, because we also give you the practice ground. So you can actually practice some of their stuff and our stuff that we're going to teach you all in one program. So it all kind of works together, right? There's always a way to spin it to where, you know, it makes sense. Make sure you're coming from a place of authenticity, though. You have to be able to, obviously, to persuade. You have to give them really strong reasons on why they should really consider this, but make sure that your product delivers at least 20 times the value, right? So whatever you're charging for, you better deliver way more than what you're charging for. I hope that you can see that in this program right here, we're only in the 3rd master class, and I hope that you can already get a sense that my whole goal was to really over deliver for you and give you way more than what you spent in this program. And I know that if I do that, then you'll know that that's the kind of person that I am. That's the kind of school that we offer. That's the kind of programs that we have for the marketplace. Programs that will really over deliver. And guess what? We have a lot of repeat business as well. That's exactly the reason, is because people see that, okay, we over deliver on every program that we offer. So that should be your goal as well. Over deliver. In fact, over promise and then over deliver on that promise. That's important too, is that you really have to have some big claims. You know, you have to, because you have to stand out from the noise. There's so much coming at these you know, audience members, these folks. There's so much in this noisy world. And how are you going to stand out, right? So you have to make some big claims, but then make sure to over deliver on those big claims, right? I think you get the idea of the pink elephants. And the last square here of persuasion is logistics cubed. So what do I mean by logistics cubed? Logistics cubed, tell them exactly what to do 3 different times. Tell them what to do 3 different times. Say, you know, so go ahead, fill out that form, put your information down, go ahead and fill out the form. Think of a date that might work for you. Choose one of those programs. Go ahead and circle it. Tell them exactly what to do 3 different times. So go ahead, everybody, go ahead and turn your form into me. Just pass it up here to the front here, right? Or you could say, you know, I'm going to stick around. We're about to wrap up here, but I'm going to stick around. And what I want you to do, as soon as we're finished here with the seminar, I want you to come up with me and turn in your form to me. And then I'll say something like this, you know, again, 3 different times, a couple different ways. Tell them exactly what to do, you know. I'll say, like, you know, did you guys create a lot of value from being here today? Yeah? Everybody go ahead and hold up your form really high so I can see it. If you've created a lot of value from being here today. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. The first 4 forms that I received today, I'm also going to give you guys a bonus one-on-one session with me, right? Something like that. You throw in something else for X number of people, just for a select few. Usually it's for the first few that take action, because guess what happens? Once you got a person that says, oh, I'm in, people always look for social proof, and if their neighbor's doing it and their other neighbor's doing it, well, it must be good. Well, heck, I'm in too. So it creates that momentum, and it gets other audience members excited about the opportunity and willing to say, you know what, heck, I'm gonna do it. So those are just a couple of ways that you can create that final push at the end. But whatever you do, make sure to give them, tell them the logistics 3 different times. Here's exactly how to do it. Here's where it's taking place. Here's how you to take advantage of this. You can put down a deposit, right? So make sure that they take some kind of action right there at the seminar. Don't tell them, oh yeah, you can go to our website, you'll get a free ebook there. And that works some of the time, but I mean, you got them in the room right there. Have them take some kind of action. Even if it's, everybody hold up your smartphone now. All right, now go ahead and hit download on that. You get that free ebook, and then also that schedules your strategy session as well. So have them take some kind of action right there in the room. Now, if it's at the corporate level, right, where you're not really going to ask for the sale right then and there, what you want to do is you want to have the same streamlined process, but the thing that you're offering right here is not going to be an actual, the product name itself, or it could be the product name itself, but you're more so offering a consultation, or that first meeting, or maybe a video conference call, or like a one-on-one, maybe to drop by their office, right? Meet with a decision maker, whatever it may be, to get that consultative selling process going. That's what you would do if you're doing this more on the B2B level. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this, and I'll see you in the next masterclass, which will be all about how to create your very own live event. Till then, take care, my friend.